Hey guys, Chris here, back from CNH Small, and got another quick video here for you. This will be a procedure how I recommend and how you should take off your blade adapter for your Lawnboy lawnmower. What we have in front of us here is a vintage 1980s Lawnboy. I'm working down my shed right now for this job, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it up here for that. So go ahead and do that. There we go. This is a vintage, I think it's a middle 80s Lawnboy lawnmower with the two-stroke engine on here specifically for that. This one has the good old cast aluminum deck here as well too. The customer brought it to us because they were having problems with starting, and we found out what was actually going on with the actual hard starting thing was the actual carburetor was flooding itself for the first problem, and the second thing was their pull rope down here is extremely short. Whenever we were pulling the machine over here, we can only get about a foot long of length coming out of the actual handle up there for that, so it was extremely difficult to try to pull over. And here's the model number specifically for this machine right here. You can wipe it off here. Sorry about the light conditions right here. So you can zoom in here for you guys. There you go. There's your model number. 7350, serial number starting with C and number 3. As I said before, this is a vintage 1980s machine. Let me go ahead and flip it up here for you. These machines have the, where's it at here? They have a blade adapter with the bigger fat, I call it the fat boy blade right here. Here's the blade. You see that right there. So there's your Lawnboy door force and also pre-door force blade right there. Plus you also have your nut, the retaining nut on here as well too. So you got your retaining nut, and you also have your blade adapter right here to hold the blade obviously onto the crankshaft as well too. The problem is with this design right here is, guys, you have a tapered piece right here. This taper goes up onto the actual crank shaft itself right there specifically for that. And what happens is over time is you develop rust along this whole entire piece right here. This whole entire piece gets rusty all along here, especially in our environment in western Pennsylvania. We have a lot of humidity around here, and what happens is the portion rusts this one taper piece right here on the crank, and it rusts with this piece right here, and they basically become almost like fused together right there for that. And I'm going to try to show you the procedure how I recommend to take off the blade adapter so you can actually check out the exhaust ports, because the first thing we do over here is we always do a baseline compression test, and we also have to check out the exhaust ports underneath your muffler assembly right here as well too, because the only way to take off the muffler is you have to get the blade off obviously, and you have to take off your blade adapter, because there's no way to get the bolts out of here unless you actually take off the blade and blade adapter. So if your blade adapter is giving you problems, it's going to be next to impossible to get your muffler baffle assembly out of here, because you have 3 bolts. You have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 bolts underneath there, retains the muffler assembly onto the actual bottom portion of the engine. So what you have to do, guys, is I first recommend using Aero Krill right here. Get a bottle of Aero Krill out there, guys, and go down to your local store, pick up some of that, and I recommend soaking the blade adapter along this piece right here for about 1 or 2 hours right there. Soak it for about a couple hours. Then also see if you can spray some blade or spray some of the Aero Krill up on the top of this piece right here as well too. And the next thing you want to do after it soaks for about 2 hours, after you let the Aero Krill soak in onto the actual blade adapter itself, so it seeps and creeps around the outer side portion of this adapter assembly, and hopefully it might go into the tapered area right here as it is on this one right here. What you want to do is you want to get your two-legged flywheel puller right here. That's what I have right here. This is a cheap and dirty, even though it's a good Craftsman model specifically for that. This is the let me see, give you a part number here for that. Sorry about this lighting out here. I got a part number on here, 46905, the Craftsman part number on this two-legged flywheel puller right here. So it's made in the United States. And what you want to do is, if the blade adapter still doesn't want to come off, what you want to do is, I'll show you here what you can do right here. Just put the blade adapter. I'm basically putting it back on it for demonstration purposes in a point where it's like, you know, fixed, so you can show how this thing's gonna work. What you want to do is you want to put the two-legged blade adapter up onto the actual clamping area right here. You want to clamp the top, and you want to clamp the bottom on here. And what you want to do is you want to put your middle piece right here, the actual bolt. Let's see, this thing. You want to put that. This thing's situated here. Sorry about this. Put that back up on there, and you want to push that onto the middle piece like that. So, and you want to put the two legs on opposite sides of each other right there. So you want to put the two legs, one on the top and one on the other side right there. So you want to have the two legs clamped just like so, like that, and you want to have the middle piece right there, and give the bolt right here a good couple cranks, and the blade adapter should pop off in a matter of, like, you know, a couple seconds out, depending on how well the aero krill penetrated the tapered portion right there for that. So that's my quick and dirty way of using the puller method to get off the blade adapter, especially on these stubborn older door, you know, pre-door force Lawnboy lawnmowers with a two-stroke engine, because you have to get back to the muffler assembly to check out the exhaust ports, because if you don't check the exhaust ports on these machines, you don't want to have any kind of excess carbon buildup in exhaust port. Plus, you also need to take the muffler baffle assembly apart here to verify the piston and the cylinder is clean on the bottom, because trying to stick a bore scope down inside a you know, spark plug hole will only give you a, you know, like one, you know, like low grain or low, I'm gonna call low resolution picture. You need to take off the whole baffle assembly on this machine to verify the actual piston looks good, the rings look good, and the exhaust ports, because you have three exhaust ports on these engines right here, guys, and you have to verify they're all clean and not plugged up. And you also need to verify the muffler is also not plugged up, because if the muffler is plugged up and the exhaust port is also partially plugged or mostly clogged up, the engine's going to be sounding like a motorboat. It's going to go. That's what it's going to sound like, guys, because the engine is not able to breathe properly. It's not able to exhale the exhaust out of the muffler assembly down here, and also the exhaust port. So it's always critical and crucial to verify that one aspect of these older two-strokes out there. So that's a quick and dirty way how to get off your flywheel, or the I keep on calling it flywheel. Sorry, I'm using a flywheel adapter. That's why I was keeping on calling that. So you need to use your flywheel adapter, the two-legged prong one here. This is what I have. That's what I use here to get off your blade adapter. If it's being extremely difficult to do that, because these things develop rust on the inner taper portion right here. As I said before, these two pieces made up. You have the inner taper portion right here for the blade adapter, and you have the other taper portion right here for the actual crankshaft as well too. And these two pieces basically weld themselves together over time due to rust and the humidity in your environment, especially in western Pennsylvania out here for that. So when you do take this thing off, I do recommend sanding the whole entire area right here. Just get some emery cloth and buff up the whole entire area inside the actual blade adapter. Or if the blade adapter becomes bent after using the puller right here, I recommend replacing the blade adapter. And when you put the blade adapter back up onto the crankshaft after you get done doing any kind of repairs, I recommend using anti-seize or some kind of real good synthetic wheel bearing grease such as Mobil 1 as a means to stop or inhibit the rust formation again. So if you do have to take the blade adapter off for whatever reason in the actual future, it will not give you any kind of problems removing the blade adapter from the crankshaft. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, feel free to leave me a message here. And this has been a quick, quick demo video of how to remove a stubborn blade adapter on your pre-door force Lawnboy two-stroke engine, as this one is. This is a vintage middle 1980s machine. And the tools you need, all you need is your two-legged flywheel puller. You also need this one I got right here. This is a where's it at here? What size is this? This is a 5/8 drive, and that's what you put onto your flywheel puller. The two-legged one, you have to use the two-legged one. That's what I prefer, because you have to have a two-sided way of contacting the outside portion of your blade adapter, as this one is. So what you want to do is you want to put the two-legged adapter, one side right here goes on that side, the other side right here goes on that side, and you put the middle tit portion right here. This tit portion goes up onto the hole right here for that. So that's the quick and dirty way of how to remove your flywheel, or I keep on calling it, sorry about that, guys. That's how you remove the blade adapter for your Lawnboy pre-door force engine, and always have a good supply of AeroAcryl stuff I have right here. This is good old AeroAcryl. This is the aerosol version, and spray the piss out of the whole entire area first before you attempt to remove the blade adapter, guys. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, as usual, feel free to leave me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you within 24, 48 hours. I'll see you. Have a nice day.